Can I please have a man slowly explain to me why you all suck so fucking much?
I didn't even do anything. I don't even know you. What the fuck?
Welcome to The Wall. Today we're going to look at two things. A woman who spent years building up frustration and decided every man is to blame except herself, and others who are convinced marriage is a trap designed against them. Before we begin, drop a like, subscribe, and leave a comment. That's what keeps this channel alive. Let's get into it.
Can I please have a man slowly explain to me why you all suck so?
It's probably you. I know you don't want to hear that, but it's probably you. And I say that because in your rant, you were blaming every single man. So you're probably going into the relationship expecting the guy to be a piece of shit. That's not fair. Next time, go into a relationship or a possible relationship with zero expectations. Expect nothing. No good, no bad. And just let both your guys' emotions and feelings work for you. Stop blaming everybody, take some accountability, and heal. That's big.
Exactly. You can't blame all men when most men don't even know you. It's not our fault you put a nose ring on, something men reject from a mile away. It's not our fault you're into both women and men. I saw your profile, and it's basically everything a decent man doesn't want in a woman. But because I know accountability is kryptonite to modern women, you'll just keep blaming men anyway.
I think I finally figured out how to love myself. I had to talk to myself. I had to close my eyes and picture my younger self when I was in one of the scariest traumatic times in my life, in a situation I couldn't control. I had to talk to myself and close my eyes. And she was scared and alone and felt like no one loved her or cared. Her real dad wasn't there, and her stepdad was really mean to her. And she didn't feel loved or safe or protected. And I had to tell her, I love you. I love you. I love little me. And it just hit so different because I've looked at myself in the mirror a million times and tried to convince myself I love you. But when you picture the innocent child that was broken, and tell that child that you love them, and that child is you, I think that's what it is, to love yourself.
I'm going to be serious about this. This country has a massive mental health problem, especially among women. A lot of it comes from the insanely high number of single mothers, women who marry young, file for divorce, and push the father out of their children's lives. The importance of a father in a daughter's life cannot be replaced. A father provides direction and teaches a woman self-respect and self-worth. Notice how the women who tend to become good wives usually had fathers or brothers actively present in their lives. But women never seem to understand that when they separate children from their fathers under the excuse that they deserve to be happy.
Can I please have a man slowly explain to me why you all suck so much? I can honestly sit here and say, as a 34-year-old woman, I have not met one good man. So please, someone explain to me why that is. It can't be a coincidence. I've never had a good male figure in my life, and I've never had a man treat me right romantically. I've never even had a good male friend. So someone sit here and tell me what's wrong with y'all.
You are the problem. Not that you might be the problem. You are the problem. But look, this is a tough situation because she was probably dealt cards in her life that she didn't have any control over. And absolutely, it has shifted her whole perspective on men and what she does and how she behaves with men. But the problem here is when you can't recognize that or you refuse to recognize that. As a grown adult, you gotta take accountability for where you are in life. And the honest first two things that I would do is to take out the piercings and to get your mindset surrounding men to shift, whatever you have to do. Therapy, changing your environment, finding the right group of friends that are both male and female, and probably just taking a break from dating for a little bit until those things are resolved.
See what I told you? These are girls raised by single mothers, women who keep them away from their real father, the one man who would have truly loved them. Then those girls grow up watching their mother introduce a new stepdad every year, men who usually don't treat them well. In the end, they struggle to build healthy relationships with men, whether friendships or romantic relationships, and they turn into feminists who hate men because they never had a real masculine presence in their lives. And instead of healing, instead of trying to understand what men actually want in a woman, they go radical. They get the nose ring. They become the type of woman every man wants to avoid. And sadly, they end up hitting the wall. The wall doesn't forgive.
So I'm listening to the 33 Strategies of War by Robert Greene, and something really stood out to me. So he said in regards to war, you want to be like Athena, not Ares, and that the people did not like Ares, and that they actually worshipped and loved Athena. But he also spoke about Athena's mother, Metis. Athena's mother, Metis, and her father, Zeus. Metis was the cleverest immortal of them all. And in order to prevent Metis from destroying him and outwitting him, Zeus married her and then swallowed her whole. Sounds kind of like what men do to us today. I think that line only confirmed further why marriage is literally a trap for women.
Stop it. Get some help.
If you look at recent studies, you'll see that women today are actually poorer compared to women the same age back in the 90s or early 2000s. You know why? Because back then, women had structure, marriage, a man helping provide financially, support for their health, their children, and their home. That led to longer life expectancy, more financial stability later in life, and less stress overall. Now you see women who never married, depending entirely on jobs that barely keep them above the poverty line. Women sleeping in cars, childless women struggling with mental health issues, antidepressant use through the roof. So how can you tell me that with more freedom, more careers, and more independence, women today are poorer than before and more unhappy than ever?
You do not care about fat people's health. Stop fucking pretending like you do, okay?
Okay, but what exactly is that theory based on?
Because if you actually cared, then you would do research.
A lot of individuals that actually speak on these subjects have done their research. That's why they encourage those that are overweight to not be so.
You would learn about fat phobia, learn about colonization.
You know, it's going to be a good take when they bring colonization into it.
Learn about the history of why fatness is demonized in our culture.
It probably has something to do with the fact that a person being overweight tends to make them more prone to more health issues. But what do I know?
Have you never seen the statue of fertility? Have you never seen works of art throughout history?
I should point out that at the time those works of art were made, being overweight was a sign that someone had surplus. They were wealthy. They were privileged. But a lot of people don't want to mention that.
Me and my fat ass are gonna be over here looking hot as fuck. And I'm healthier than you.
Sure.
That's what really bugs me, y'all. You don't know how healthy I am by looking at me. Period. End of story.
No, that's in part true. Being overweight doesn't necessarily make a person unhealthy. However, the likelihood of that person developing conditions which will make them unhealthy in the future is much higher.
Gotcha, bitch.
People don't care about your weight or how many burgers you eat. What concerns people is that when the health problems start, as a single woman, the government ends up having to take care of you, which eventually turns it into a burden on everyone else. That's why people talk about the dangers of obesity, because nobody wants millions of people dying every year, becoming unproductive, and ending up dependent on others to survive.
Women.
Marriage only benefits poor women and typically destroys successful women. Amon Shumpert apparently stole that $4 million from Tiana Taylor, which is why he was ordered to give it back to her in the divorce. It's money he stole from her that he promised to pay back and never did. And thankfully, she had a cheating clause in her prenup, which a lot of successful women don't even do neither of the two. Halle Berry lost custody of her children in her divorce. And the thing is, even the poor ones are still getting cheated on, abused, and dogged out. But in their mind, they're winning because they've got a husband that they're using for his money and a lifestyle that they're providing them. See, successful women provide themselves the lifestyle that poor women expect a husband to provide for them. Successful women already have the lifestyle that poor women seek to gain from a husband. The problem is when you're a successful woman, he's going to cheat on you too. He's going to take your money. You see, a poor woman has no money to take. Is the poor woman getting cheated on? Is she getting bacterial vaginosis and yeast infections? Is she having to go to the OBGYN? Is she sometimes getting HIV because her husband's cheating? Yes, it's actually very common. In fact, 80% of women that have HIV are married women. That's a real fact. And sure, both the successful woman and poor woman are both getting sick from the narcissistic abuse and cheating and way they're being treated in the relationship is literally making them physically ill. Some of them are getting cancer. But at least as a poor woman, there's nothing that he can take other than your kids. But marriage doesn't benefit successful women at all. It's a lose-lose-lose situation. Tiana Taylor didn't gain anything from Amon Shumpert. The money he paid to her in the divorce was money he stole from her throughout the fucking marriage. The only person who gains anything from a marriage is poor women. And poor women feel that the risk of STDs, losing your hair, lack of health, sickness, and being cheated on and abused is worth the money and lifestyle that a husband can provide them. So, yay, hypergamy. Poor women will gain a lifestyle that they weren't giving themselves. And when successful women get divorced, it's really ugly and it doesn't usually look too good for them. Tiana Taylor luckily signed a prenup and put a cheating clause in her contract, which is why she came out okay. But a lot of women who are successful and get married, their divorces, they do not come out okay. They come out 1,000 times worse than when they went in. They would have been better off not married. Like Oprah.
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
Maybe it's just me, but this woman talks like a man and even has masculine facial features. She talks about the woman who married Amon, but conveniently leaves out the fact that she walked away with millions from him, never really had to work, receives massive child support for their 2 kids, and lives in a huge house she got through him. Things she never would have achieved on her own. And honestly, Amon was foolish. Once you're making over $1 million a year, honestly even over $300,000, I'm not getting married. Any woman with me is staying in a long-term relationship without marriage, where there's going to be such a strong prenup that you're not walking away with my life's work. I'm taking the non-marriage route. And if she doesn't accept it, another woman will. Because finding a man who can give you the lifestyle you're providing is extremely difficult. But finding a beautiful, young, fertile woman? Trust me, that's very possible. We've reached the end, but before we go, the questions are for you. Why is the most free and independent generation of women also the most medicated generation in history? If marriage is supposedly a trap for women, why do married women live longer, have better health, and more financial stability than single women? If you enjoyed the video, make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and turn on notifications. Your support means a lot to us and motivates us to keep creating more content. Stay tuned for the next video on the wall.